Okay, so yeah, I'm on the mystery tune right now. I actually started recording this, but I stopped recording it because there's actually a tune here, and I was like, oh, okay, well if that guy is a fan, then he knows my secret tune. It's the same tune in the Silly Meter video. This tune actually might be revealed pretty soon, but one thing I want to talk about before I get into this discussion, well, two things. First of all, I am just discussing this from a purely gameplay standpoint. I do not care which gags you go on Toontown. I think this game is stupidly easy as is, and that's it. I really do not have any stake. Anytime that I ever talk about like, oh, Soundless tunes are terrible or oh, Lureless tunes are terrible, I'm literally just kind of joking. I really do not care. Now, I'm going to make the case right now that Soundless tunes, I think by like a mile and a half, are the worst types of tunes on Toontown. Well, I mean, barring like the reverse Uber semis with multiple, without sound squirt throw. Yeah, and secondly, I don't know, let me know in the comments what you want as footage in the discussion videos. I don't know if I should just put up a derpy image, if I should, you know, I don't know what I should do usually, because I could put up old footage, but I don't know, I've never really been that big of a fan of that. Melby Land's good because it's like, oh, we're talking about sound. So yeah. Anyways, the first thing I want to mention in this discussion video is there is a case you can make. There's a definite case you can make that Lure is, from a gameplay standpoint, and again, strictly a gameplay standpoint, there's multiple parts to this that I, want everyone to be aware of. Strictly from a gameplay standpoint, is better, technically, than sound. And the reason for that is, okay, let's just compare this. Let's say you have 4 tunes with sound, and 4 tunes with Lure. The 4 tunes with sound will have 12 foghorns, but the 4 tunes with Lure will have 12 hypnogoggles. And hypnogoggles is stupidly broken. I mean, this is one thing that kind of falls by the wayside in Toontown, is because a lot of gag tracks you don't have to use. The game is so easy that, you can just use sound on everything, but a lot of people underestimate, just how broken a lot of the other gag tracks are. Lure, I mean, come on, Lure literally stuns cogs and gives you bonus damage. Like in any other game, that would like I'm getting into now, I think from a structural standpoint and from like an actual gameplay standpoint, yeah, Lure probably is the best gag track, especially because it is like universal, right? It is universal, to where like sound can be pretty bad if you're like soloing something. Sound is really only good with groups. Good luck soloing something without, like Lure. Now you're probably wondering why the heck I'm even talking about this. Because you're probably like, wait, you're really making a terrible case for why, soundless tunes are the worst, not Lureless tunes. The reason for this is Toontown is way too easy. The number one thing players value in Toontown, above all else, and I don't know if you guys disagree, you can tell me in the comments. The number one thing that I value, at least, if I were to play through this game seriously, would be, I'm just running into the HQ, would be the speed at which I can get facilities done. And Lure, even if it is the best gag track from a structural standpoint of the game, that does not matter. It does not matter. Who cares? Honestly, like, let me ask you this question. Would you rather do a back 9 with a Lureless or a Soundless? How about this? Would you rather do a back 9 with 3 Soundless tunes or 3 Lureless tunes? Obviously, everyone is going to say, oh, obviously I would rather just take the Lureless tunes. Because sound, you can just spam through. And that's the thing. In Toontown, you value what the players value. The players I talk to usually value. And what I value is getting through the game, not at a snail's pace. And you can't do that if you don't have sound. And it's almost kind of stupid in a certain sense, because it's like, and TuneUp's another one I can hear thrown around a lot. Like, TuneUp really is stupidly broken. Like, TuneUp literally just like fully heals everyone in like 2 seconds. You know, a lot of people, it can be weird, because a lot of us have been playing Toontown for so long where we never kind of like stop and actually realize, like, wait a second, like, these gags are the stupidest things ever. But again, TuneUp has the argument that I am very sympathetic to, that in all actuality, unless things completely go south, which probably aren't going to happen unless you have someone disconnect or you have an actual greener, you probably aren't going to need TuneUp. I mean, even in the back 9, you can have the maze fully heal you. Like, for God's sakes. Like, what are you like, in the mints, you get an ice cream barrel after every puzzle. Like, I don't know what, like, the only thing I can think of is if a boss fight goes south. Like, I don't know, if your sound misses on Skellicogs. But even then, all you need is one person with tune-up. Or 2 people with tune-up on your side, and you're fine. I mean, if the one person with tune-up has a really high laugh, it's not like they're ever going to go sad. But the main point of this video that I really want to get across is, I think when people debate this topic, when people discuss this topic, they don't discuss, like, what should actually be discussed about it. It's not necessarily about what is the best gag track. It's not necessarily about what is, you know, the most overpowered gag track. It is what is the most convenient thing to play through the game. Because sound is only good when you have 4 people. I mean, okay, 3 people, but like, have fun using sound, using like 2 foghorns. Like, what, that'll defeat like a level 9 2 foghorns if you're like dueling something. However, you are never going to be in a situation, or you're rarely going to be in a situation where you only have like 2 people. And again, Lure is so broken that you only need 1 person on your side with it, and you're fine. Like, that's it. Like, okay, you have 1 person. Are you going to tell me that throughout the whole, like, boss fight or the whole facility that your lure is going to miss 3 times? Your hypnogoggles are going to miss 3 times? Okay, what about presentation? That literally lasts for 15 turns. What about all the big magnets you get? I know big magnets don't have the greatest accuracy, but again, you can just tune each other up. But again, that's not the point. That's not what people value in Toontown. Who cares if Lure is technically better if you have to sit around all day and keep healing yourself? Instead, the alternative is just, oh, sound the cogs, and then they're gone. And that's the main thing that I want to, you know, get across is, and a lot of arguments that say that, like, oh, Lureless tunes are actually the worst. I don't buy it, because, like, okay, what are the actual, like, things that Lureless tunes can't do? They can't really solo things. That's it. How many times do you need to solo something in Toontown? You don't. You seriously don't. And if you're going to do something like, I don't know, a solo VP, you're going to have SOS cards. You're going to have resources to, you know, get through it. So I just, like, okay, maybe trying to get your stock, if you need like 100 stock options, maybe doing a 4-story boss spot building might be a little bit annoying. But then it's like, what's more convenient, right? So, okay, let's run with that logic for a second. Let's just say that, okay, I don't want to go, I am going to go Soundless because I am very fearful of 4-story boss spot buildings, right? When I need 100 stock options. Literally all I have to do is bring 1 other tune with Lure, and I'm fine. Or just bring 1 other tune with sound. I mean, at that point, like, if you're doing like a 4-story boss spot building, just 2 sounds will destroy the cogs. I think what I really want to get across is how stupid this discussion is. It should just be an open and shut case for sound. Like, okay, all right, like, Soundless is the worst, like, -50. There, I have never heard a compelling argument for why Lureless is actually the worst. Like, seriously. Because I don't know, like, if everyone is, like, if everyone on Toontown Rewritten was the biggest idiot, like, in the world, then, okay, you could probably convince me that, okay, maybe we shouldn't go Lureless. But you literally have to be the biggest idiot in the world to not just spam sound in every battle. Like, literally, sound is so broken that if you go, here's a fun example. What happens if you go into the D office and you try to lure every group? Yeah, try that and tell me how that goes. And then tell me how good being soundless over lureless is. Such a stupid discussion. This is a video I've wanted to make for a while. Because it's something that I always feel like comes up. And like I said, I don't care what type of tune you make. I'm pretty open about if I were to play Toontown seriously, and I think a lot of people who are actually watching this video would disagree with this. If I were to play Toontown seriously, I think I would take anyone. Like, I don't think I would really care if you were soundless. There is kind of an asterisk to that, though, because I would not want to like, actually work boss bot. So, like, I don't think I would take soundless tunes to back nines, but I wouldn't be, if I were to play Toontown Rewritten seriously, I don't think I would touch boss bot. I do not like working boss bot. I think the CEO is a really cool fight, you know, all together, you know, wrapped into one, but I loathe, you know, back nines. And I also loathe the feeding round. I might make a video about that, how I literally hate the feeding round. Like, the feeding round is probably my least favorite instance in Toontown, now that you know, when I actually think about it. Anyways, I think that's about it. Also, the big thing is, I don't even know why we're really even having this discussion, because it's like, okay, hey, here's a compromise, guys. How about you don't go lureless or soundless? How about you go, like, trapless? Or, I don't know, dropless? I mean, even going tune-upless, unless you're a greener. If you're a greener, don't go tune-upless, because duo greening is always good, and, you know, it's good to, you know, like, fake people out with tune-up. But, like, honestly, that actually might be the best one to go. But yeah, that's the thing, is it's like, okay, we're talking about, I think, yeah, lure and sound have to, like, objectively be the best two gag tracks in the game. It's almost like, why are we even talking about this? We literally have trap, drop, tune-up. Like, we have so many other gag tracks that you could just leave off instead and make a much more compelling case for it. And I guess that point is probably kind of stupid to make, though, because I'm aware a lot of people who make these tunes are just making them because that's like, oh, I'm just bored, you know, and I, you know, never made a soundless tune or whatever. But yeah, I do not, it's one of these discussions that always gets dragged up every now and then. I haven't seen it recently, but like I said, I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. I just don't, I just objectively don't think, like, okay, yeah, sure, go soundless and have every facility you do take, like, an extra 15, like, at least, like, at the very least, you're going to tack on, like, an extra, like, 5 to 10 minutes to every facility you do. And I know that's being generous. That is being very generous. Because, like, back nines are going to take much longer than that. I think maybe you could get away with it in bullion mints. You can definitely get away with it in factories. And then boss fights as a whole are kind of hard to put on a scale because they're so sporadic when it comes to, you know, the cogs you fight. Anyways, I think that's it. Let me know in the comments if you guys... Let me know if there's any discussion videos you want. I have a few. I kind of have a backlog of ones I want to make. If there's any, like, topic you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments. Also, let me know what I should use as the footage. Would you guys prefer me to just play an old video, you know, in the background while I talk? Would you guys prefer, you know, me just being on Toontown like this? You guys prefer just a stupid, you know, like, image that I just make in MS Paint? Yeah, just tell me what you would like. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later.